disabilities in employment, transportation, public accommodations, commercial facilities, telecommunications, state and local government. Whereas the ADA has raised awareness of abilities of individuals and disabilities, has resulted in great progress, which has been seen every day through curb cuts, communication, access, buildings, and transportation. And if I could have just a moment of privilege here as a speaker, it's still not enough. The work has yet to be fully completed, and in some cases may never be completed, but we must do the work where we can.
Yes.
Thank you. Whereas the Disabilities Pride Parade helps to celebrate people with disabilities, to change the way people think, and this is important for you to do. This is your charge and your responsibility, and define disability to the end of the stigma of disabilities, and to promote the belief that disabilities is a natural, beautiful part of the human diversity in which people living with disabilities can take pride. And whereas, in addition to Philadelphia, Disability Pride Parades have been held in numerous places across the United States, in the Silicon Valley, in California, Chicago, Colorado Springs, Houston, Atlanta, Detroit, Columbus, as well as around the world in locations such as South Korea, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Whereas on June the 15th, Philadelphia's 8th annual Disability Pride March of Solidarity and a main stage event will begin at 10 a.m. with opening ceremonies right here at the National Constitution Center, when the parade marches down East Market Street to City Hall courtyard, where an afternoon-long celebration will ensure it is therefore resolved by the City of Philadelphia City Council that we proclaim June 10th through 15th as Disability Pride Week in the City of Philadelphia. Further resolved that an engrossed copy will be presented to the Disability Pride Parade Organizing Committee as evidence of the very sincere sentiments of this legislative body. God bless you all. Thank you for being here. And we should remember that Disability Pride is not just this day or this week, but should be every day. And I thank you for your time. God bless you all.
Next, I'd like to introduce the CEO of Liberty Resources, Tom Earl.
Good morning, Philadelphia, and most importantly, good morning to the people with disabilities of Philadelphia. Today's our day to celebrate our disability with pride and dignity. I'm Tom Earl, the Executive Director, CEO of Liberty Resources. We are the Center for Independent Living for people with disabilities in the Philadelphia area. And I'd like to give a shout out to our proud board members. Some of them are here, and I might miss a couple, but our board chair is Debbie Russell. And our vice chair is Cassie James. Cassie James Holdsworth, I know she's here. And Tony Brooks is another board member, and we have a number of staff and consumers here. We celebrate this event each year. This is our 8th annual event, and very proudly, Liberty Resources was one of the founding sponsors of the first Disability Pride 8 years ago. And I want to pay tribute also to Alan Holdsworth, who's right behind me, who was one of the principal organizers of that very first year, and also Kathleen Cohen, who was instrumental, along with Liberty Resources, in getting Justin Dart's famous wheelchair that he sat in when he signed the Americans with Disabilities Act into law with President Bush back in 1990, almost 30 years ago. Speaking of the Americans with Disabilities Act, we all know that there are two key themes to the Americans with Disabilities Act, our civil rights that are proudly part of this National Constitution Center in Philadelphia here. One is the equal opportunity theme, and that is to make sure that people with disabilities have the equal opportunity, especially in areas of employment, that they're not discriminated against, and that they can be provided with reasonable accommodations to help do their jobs so that more people with disabilities become employed. We have among the highest rate of unemployment in the country among any protected class. So we need to keep working on that. Another big theme of the Americans with Disabilities Act, our civil rights, is the community integration mandate. And very importantly, it happens to coincide with Disability Pride this month. We are coming up on the 20th anniversary of the Olmstead versus LC landmark Supreme Court decision. We've all heard about Olmstead, and Olmstead was a key Supreme Court case that established that unjustified institutionalization is a form of discrimination under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Two women who were from Georgia, Lois Curtis and Elaine Wilson, were unnecessarily institutionalized. They had developmental disabilities and psychiatric conditions, and they could have received and were assessed to receive services in the community, yet the state of Georgia interfered with that, and that case made its way to the Supreme Court and really interpreted strongly the community integration mandate that people with disabilities should receive services in an integrating setting that is most appropriate to their needs. So let's have a big round of applause for the Olmstead decision. And here's a piece of local history.
Excuse me, Incoming leaders like Imani Barbarin, otherwise known as Crutches and Spice, on Twitter. Imani is the Director of Communications for the Protection and Advocacy Agency here in the state of Pennsylvania. I don't know where he went, but Herman Perotti, another great world-class leader here in Philadelphia. These are some of the strongest leaders for civil and human rights for people with disabilities in the world. So I'm honored to be here with you today. And let's just close once again reminding everybody who's walking by, what do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? That's the Disability Integration Act. Google it. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Of the ADA, and was a wonderful case brought right here in Pennsylvania by none other than Steve Gold, Eileen Shane, and Robin Resnick from the Disability Rights of Pennsylvania. I believe Steve Gold might be here, or he might be trimming his beard somewhere on his way, I don't know. But Steve Gold also happens to be a board member of Liberty Resources, and we're very lucky to have him. And so remember, the Helen L. decision was also a landmark civil rights decision for the independent living movement. The last thing I'd like to say is that in celebration of Olmstead, when you get to City Hall today, make sure you stop by Liberty Resources table. We will be celebrating the 20th anniversary of ADA with a trifold display of the significance of the decision, but most importantly, we put 20 faces of independent living behind the 20th anniversary of the Olmstead decision. These are 20 people that Liberty Resources has helped move out of nursing homes to live in the community, including our administrator of nursing home transition, Norma Dabrowski-Robertson, who moved out of English House with Liberty's help and Nancy Solander's help, and 19 other consumers that we've moved out of local nursing homes, including Philadelphia Nursing Home. So the 20 for 20 is in honor of the Olmstead decision and the 20 to 30 people that Liberty Resources works very hard each year to move out of nursing homes. So congratulations to everybody. We look forward to the march. And with Alan Holdsworth's assistance, because I'm not the best singer, I would just like to lay the ground for a little chant that is reminiscent of Harry Belafonte's song, and it goes something like this.
It's the Banana Boat song. It goes like this.
Olmstead, Olmstead,
Free our people, 'cause we wanna go home. Olmstead, Olmstead. Free our people, because we wanna go home. Olmstead, Olmstead. Free our people, 'cause we wanna go home.
Thank you.
Sponsor, and so the Vice President of Gateway Health Plan is with us today, Marcia Martin.
Good morning, everyone. I can't hear you. Good morning, everyone. Much better. First, I want to tell you that I am personally humbled and honored to be able to participate. Gateway Health is a managed care organization serving our Commonwealth's most vulnerable, those on Medicaid. And
Celebrate Disability Pride with all of you here. This is such an important event for Philadelphia. I'm thrilled to see us organized and disability awareness to continue annually. Do you want to learn a little bit of sign language? This is Disability Pride. I'm going to show you our sign for disability, and feel free to copy it. Here we go. This is the letter D. Let's see you sign it. The letter D and the letter A for disability and pride. Pride. All the way up from the bottom. Big pride. Okay, ready to sign it together? Disability pride. All right. 3 times as a cheer. Are you ready? Disability pride. Disability pride. Disability pride. Let's hear it. Great job, everybody. I am here to represent the National Association for the Deaf. NAD was the first organization to establish those civil rights ahead of the NAACP. NAD focused on 3 tenets: language, human rights, and we fought very hard in many, many different ways for those rights, leading with education and outreach. Recently, we were very excited to create a Parents app. It was only a few days ago, and the Parents app is for our parents out there who have children who are deaf and don't identify them as a disability. Understand that 90% of deaf children are born to parents who are hearing and don't know what to do to help those children. So that help is coming in the form of an app to give them guidance in several areas. First, their children's rights, specifically in association with the IEP, the Individual Education Plan, their rights in a school setting. Also discusses Section 504 and their accommodations in the classroom setting. We also address resources that are available to our parents with many articles, books, and websites that they can peruse to understand more about their rights. It's very important. Those parents' stories are a critical piece to learn from each other about each other's navigations and successes. And finally, different events in our community on a national level and a local level. We want to encourage our parents to get involved, to meet other parents, to meet other peers, and recognize they're not alone, and also to give their children an opportunity to meet their peers. Using this app gives them an opportunity to learn how to advocate for themselves and for their children. They are their children's role model. Those children will look to their parents to learn to fight for their own rights and become self-advocates as adults, and this is critical for our population. So today we gather for Disability Pride. I see several different groups all banded together, fighting together for ongoing rights. Even though we have our individual experiences, which are too numerous to list, we share our experiences with those who don't know them, who don't experience them, and we persevere to make sure that we achieve accessibility for all. Thank you, everybody.
I'm here for the warriors. I'm here for the warriors who opened up our public schools, who demanded public transit, who fought to establish health care and human rights for all, and who fought to make this country better. I'm here for the warriors on Disability Pride Day who get up each and every day for their families, and they do it in the name of love. They do it in the name of love for themselves, first and foremost, for their families and caregivers who give them the strength to carry on. They do it for our city, which is in crisis, and for a nation that's in the throes of a moral crisis right now. We're at a moral crossroads. And I'm just so grateful on Disability Pride Day to be here with friends, with warriors, and with advocates who are making this city better each and every day. So on Disability Pride Day, this is for all of you who are on this lawn today, making a difference in everybody's lives. And you know, like, I don't want us to get away from what this moment means, especially on Pride Month. I don't want us to forget that this is a nation in the throes of a moral crisis, that we just gave away $1.5 trillion in tax cuts to the wealthiest of the wealthy, while Congress continues to take away or try to steal away our health care, while they fail to put money into important issues that our communities have been demanding and crying out for: affordable, accessible housing, public housing vouchers that we desperately need, to open up our public schools and to seriously invest in them, and to make public transit accessible for everybody. But I'm also thoughtful about what we here in Philadelphia have won.
Thank you to all the speakers for being here celebrating with us. What is Disability Pride? Being here, being out, doing what I want to do, being proud of being disabled. I don't need more than you do. I don't need different. I need to live. I need to control my life as you control your life. I don't need the second entrance. I don't need second-class things. We need what you need. We are proud of being disabled.
Yes.
It is not something we put on the side. We don't try to hide. Today, we're going to march down Market Street. We're going to have a band parade with us. We're going to have, you see down there already, some puppets with us. It's a beautiful day to celebrate. And we've had many great speakers. I don't need to add. We're ready to march. We're ready to get the street all the way, and we're going to have events until 3 p.m. at City Hall. Not only is Philadelphia Pride Week, we are also looking to make October Philadelphia Pride Month in Harrisburg. So if you have not signed that petition, please look for it on our Facebook page. And I don't need to hold you any longer. We're going to be lining up down by the great white unicorn down there and off to the corner. Disability Pride!
How you spell power?
And for adapters, we have a great chant. How do you spell power? A-D-A-P-T! How do you spell power?
A-D-A-P-T!
How do you spell power?
A-D-A-P-T!
Where's Tom and Jack?
That's what they've gotten away with all these years. And deals were made with them by people that have not been made accountable for them.
Declaration of Independence said just a couple blocks from here, the pursuit of happiness. I think this is very, very important, and this is an idea that should never be ended. It is a continuing work on progress. But I would like to present to Vicki, who is one of the great coordinators here, a resolution defining that this year marks the 29th anniversary of the passage of the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act, which prohibits discrimination against people with disabilities in employment, transportation, public accommodation, and commercial facilities and telecommunications in state and local government. Years ago, that was a heavy lift. That work has been done, but the work must continue. And you being here today in celebration, but also gathering information and talking to the people at large, talking to the able-bodied.
Sometimes I think I've always been the illness, a plague sent to scourge the earth, that every flesh and blood thing was meant to wither in the wake of me. How does pestilence learn to love himself? Or will that too fester, grow malignant? Isn't everything inside him meant to cannibalize? If I was born to be wounded, am I capable of healing? Or is every growth I muster meant to harbinger death? The thing they don't tell you about hallucinations is that they make you find God in everything, is that they've made me revere the God I find in myself. Maybe I am a cripple because I was meant to walk on water. Maybe I have a cane because I was born to part seas. A seizure is what happens when God enters a human body. Everything a prophet sees is a hallucination. God only talks back to those who know what to listen for. I call this a sacred illness, because to know divinity is to meet the death in your own eye and call it healing, is to cradle the madness in your limbs and pronounce it bliss. Thank you so much. Performing for you guys. I think next up is the fashion show, so that should be fun.